My name's Cindy Ucker, and I, for the last 5 years, have lived in Laramie, Wyoming. I was born in Guam and was raised in Denver, Colorado, Commerce City, Colorado, and had a career in Colorado and retired as an educator after 32 years and then moved to Laramie. I had traditional educational experiences growing up. Commerce City was a suburb of Denver, a very diverse community. And so I went to Central Elementary School, your neighborhood elementary school, and middle school, well, no, it was junior high then, and then Adams City High School. Did my undergraduate work at CSU in Fort Collins, did my graduate work at UNC in Greeley, and worked on my administrative credentials at a number of different colleges in Colorado, and finished with an ed specialist degree from UNC. My ethnic background is Japanese American. My mom was born and raised in Osaka, Japan. My dad was in the Navy, and they married, and he brought my mom to the United States. And all through my life, the Japanese culture has been very influential. Not only my mom, but all of our friends, who most of them were Japanese women, who also had married military men. We were all encouraged and supported to value education, to believe that it was a privilege to be able to live in the United States and to attend American schools, and that we would be wasting that privilege if we didn't study hard and do all of the work that was expected of us, and to really try to excel in our education. And it paid off for many of us. I know in my high school graduating class, there were probably about 10 of us, what I would call Nisei Japanese. That means that we were not born in Japan, but we were first or second generation Japanese Americans. And so they even had separate scholarships because of that ethnic background. But we always recognized that we approached education differently. We didn't have an Asian club, but we were all very involved in activities and sports and our academics. And so we were all able to go to college and excel in our chosen fields. I also have a 32-year background in education. I served as a teacher in small rural communities. I served as assistant principal, I served as a principal, and I also served as a superintendent in Colorado. And throughout that educational career, with lots of diversity in rural schools, in the Colorado Springs School District 11, considered an inner city school district, had a lot of opportunity to observe, not just from my own educational upbringing and perspective, but in the schools that I taught in, that children of color, children with handicaps, children that learned differently, there was a perception and oftentimes a practice by teachers that because we were different, it made it harder for them. And so I don't know if it was a resentment or frustration, whether, and I can also include gifted children in that category, because I saw the same thing there. that if the teacher had to work harder and do things differently, it made it difficult for the whole class. One of the best classes or educational experiences that I had was learning about students where English was a second language. And the most powerful idea that I was able to embrace in my career was to keep the expectations high for all the children, regardless of their race, their ethnic background, their socioeconomic status, how long they'd been in the country. Just keep the educational standards high, the expectations high, and then support the children with whatever resources you had so that they could meet those expectations instead of trying to do this different for this group or trying to make too many accommodations for this kind of group. To look at the abilities that all children come with, to look at their strengths and to play off those strengths. And I think that belief allowed me to impact education in a far greater way than I ever could. I truly thought when I left teaching to be an administrator that because of my background that I'd be able to make a bigger difference. But I, after maybe 15 years in education, realized that it really didn't matter, that there were still those other decision-making bodies that didn't have the experiences and the ideas and the hopes and dreams that I did for all children. And so a lot of things that I thought would have benefited children were stopped at a higher level. And so it was a good career, a very diverse career, and a very rewarding career. And I'm really thankful for the opportunities that I did have. I believe that by ethnicity, Asian students do well in our American system because of the support and the encouragement and the expectations that come from the home. And I think that with that background coming in, it makes it easier for teachers to work with those students, to support those students. And again, I do believe that that is a cultural and ethnic expectation. As teachers, and I'm not too far retired to have forgotten what it's like, but I think the most important thing we can do is we have to be honest with ourselves. Children feel what's in our heart. And if we come across as recognizing too many differences and separating children because of these differences, instead of embracing them all for their strengths, for their love of learning, for the gifts that they bring, for the excitement that they can share, if we nurture that kind of an environment in our classrooms, then the academics will happen. And all students, regardless of their ethnic background, the color of their skin, their handicapping condition, will be more successful. If we focus on people's abilities rather than their disabilities and their differences, I think our education system will be a much stronger and a much healthier system for all children.
Thanks, Mom.